Welcome back. The government has named 400 schools which are set to benefit from renovation projects. But analysis by Sky's data team shows that it would cost £11.4 billion to make the repairs needed to Britain's crumbling schools. And yet it appears there's less than half that in the budgets. Sky's Ali Fortescue reports.
It soaks up and then gets that heavy that they come through the ceiling and they collapse.
It's not a tour any headmaster wants to give to a journalist, but at Russell Scott Primary on the outskirts of Manchester, they need help.
These are a couple of weeks old, and this is happening every time we have a downpour. This is what happens. One of the problems that we've had is that there are internal manholes throughout the building. And they've lifted up, and sewage has come out from these manholes.
What, like here?
Yeah, into the classrooms.
So there's been sewage?
Sewage, yeah.
After leaks and floods, raw sewage floating in classrooms, today the government's announced that this school will be rebuilt. It's welcome news, but won't make up for the last 8 years.
We're in an area that is socially deprived, and so the pressures that are borne by communities like ours are high. It does get to you, and it gets very stressful, and it gets you down, and sleepless nights and all that, because you've got all these children who depend upon you, you've got staff in the school who depend upon you, and if we make the wrong call at the wrong times, it's them that will pay the consequence.
It's not just this school. Research published last year estimates that the cost of fixing schools in need of repair would run to £11.4 billion, and capital spending on education is half what it was at its peak in 2010. The fifth Education Secretary this year says more money is coming and has now named 4 out of 500 schools that will be rebuilt.
It's been estimated it will cost £11 billion to repair schools up and down the country. Is that the sort of funding that you hope you'll get?
I think you've always got a value for money question. You've always got to look at what's required. You know, I remember when I was younger, there may have been a lot of money invested. In fact, in Knowsley, they did. They knocked all the comprehensive schools down and they built 7 new ones. And for years later, they were called the wacky warehouses. You've got to make sure what you're doing makes sense and does deliver value to students.
We spoke to others with extraordinary stories of crumbling classrooms and buildings falling into disrepair. They didn't want to be named for fear it would impact any funding decision.
It is the Cinderella. It has been neglected, and if we genuinely do care about our future, not just of our children, but surely our economy, investment has to happen, and it has to happen now.
And Labour say this government is leaving pupils behind.
In the autumn statement, there was an unexpected £2 billion for schools. They've said they're going to rebuild 500 schools. There's 500 million now for efficiency savings. Surely that is something.
Since 2010, the capital spend from the Department for Education has halved. So it hasn't been a priority to make sure that our schools are fit for the future. This isn't just about fixing immediate problems. It should be about making sure that all of our children have got a brilliant environment in which to learn.
This Prime Minister has said education is a priority, but fixing schools badly in need of repair, making up for the lost COVID years, won't be easy or cheap. Ali Fortescue, Sky News.